I'm Jenny Travatori. I'm a technology implementation specialist. You can see John over there, also from my team. The two of us are going to lead you through this webinar for parents, all about myMCPS classroom assignments specifically. And this particular webinar is one that's being interpreted for ALS. So you can see our interpreter spotlighted here. She's trying to interpret everything we're saying. So just giving you some understanding about that. I also have my colleague Jeff Luttrell on this with us as well. Jeff is our consultant from Canvas. Canvas is the application of myMCPS Classroom that we use for distance learning. So he's our resident expert and he's here to support us and to support you as well. Bottom left-hand corner, you can see the bit.ly address for this specific presentation. Feel free to write that down. I believe probably in the chat as well, a link to it has been dropped. You can click on it from there to connect with the presentation as well. And with that said, we'll go ahead and finally get rolling with some content here. So our outcomes are real simple. We're trying to help you gain an understanding of different assignment types that exist within the myMCPS Classroom platform. And we want you to be familiar with what the process is for your child to be submitting work for those assignments. Just to clarify, when you are in myMCPS Classroom, from a parent perspective, your point of entry into myMCPS Classroom is going to be through the Parent View portal. That is your only way to get in. So if you haven't already activated your Parent View portal account, you're going to want to do so. And then from there, there is a Parent Resources tab. That is what you would click on to see a link for myMCPS Classroom, and that is what you would click on to pass you into your account with myMCPS Classroom. With your account for myMCPS Classroom, your security is one as an observer, and so that means you can see all the courses that your child is enrolled to with view-only access. So you wouldn't be able to complete any of the assignment work that you're viewing within your child's courses, but you can at least see them and understand and then give support to your child in knowing how to complete them and knowing how to submit the work back. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in this particular webinar. So I'm jumping right into information about the first type of myMCPS Classroom assignment. Before I do, let me just also say that if you're not quite even sure, what myMCPS Classroom is or how to navigate within it, there are two other webinars that might make really good sense for you to participate in as well. That will make this one make even more sense. And that is myMCPS Classroom for navigation purposes. And then also that digital backpack, which is explaining all these terms about Parent View, about myMCPS Classroom, about Zoom, and about some of the applications for assignments we use within myMCPS Classroom. Taking advantage of those webinars is going to help this one and all of them to kind of make some good sense for you. So I did want to give a little plug-in about that. Okay, so back to the first assignment type that you may see within myMCPS Classroom. It's called a Google Docs Cloud assignment. And in a moment, I'm going to transfer over into being in a course from a student perspective to show you what this looks like, but a little bit of instruction about that first. When a student sees a Google Docs Cloud assignment provided to them in their course to complete, their first step is going to be to click on the assignment button that's going to launch that assignment in its own window. Once the assignment is available in its own window, the student can then click into it and begin to edit, add their own content of work so that it's getting completed. When they're ready to submit it, they'll see a blue Submit Assignment button in the upper right-hand corner. Pressing that turns the assignment into their teacher within the course. And the whole purpose of a Google Docs Cloud assignment is so that each student has their own copy of the assignment. So when they're making edits to it, putting their own content into it, it is just theirs and theirs alone, and the only ones that can see it are them and their teacher. So their peers aren't seeing what they're putting into that particular assignment because it's unique to them. This next screenshot here or slide with screenshots, I should say, is giving you a picture representation of what this cycle looks like. So starting with the image that's in the upper left-hand corner, you can see on the left-hand side, we are in a course with course navigation shown on the left. And here is us in or have clicked on the Google Doc Cloud assignment. And that button that I'm talking about that you would click on or your child would click on, and that is what launches the assignment in its own open window over to the right. After your child has put their content into that, they would click on that blue submit button that we see in the upper right hand corner, and that then gives this date and timestamp to show that it has been submitted to their teacher. So let's take a live look of what that would look like in myMCPS classroom. So I'm here as a student in a course. I'm first starting at my dashboard. And now I'm in a specific course itself. And if I scroll down, I can see a variety of assignments here published for me to complete. We were just talking about that Google Docs Cloud assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And once I've clicked on that assignment to begin completing, here is that button that I talked about. When I click on this button, it's going to open up a new window for me right next to my course and begin to show me that assignment. So this assignment is a writing assignment, asking students to write about a memorable summer event that they experienced this past summer. And it's live for me. And it did open up in its own window right next to the course. So here I'm in my course, and then just to the right, here is that assignment. If I want to scroll to the bottom and start to put in information, I'm adding on now to this particular assignment, I certainly can. If I want to have an even larger workspace than what I have right here, then I can click on this link, which is the name of the assignment in the upper left-hand corner. And that's going to open up another window for me to the right where I have a larger space, and it looks more like a Google Doc that I had created newly from my own Google Drive to work on. And so if I was to add in more content down here, anything I'm doing here is going to be reflected over in that particular tab, which is the first one that I opened. So it's all very live. I think a lot of students prefer to be working in this larger window where there's more space. Once they're done completing their work in this assignment, they can go ahead and close the window for it. They're not going to be losing anything. I'm still in this window that I had available when I opened up the assignment from my classroom. But here, this is where I see that submit button. So when I'm ready, I would click on submit, and it's going to be turned into my teacher. I'm just going to go ahead and click on close. I know I have some other examples to go through or other webinars where I'm doing this, so I don't want to submit mine yet, but they would just click on submit. And once you hit submit, it's going to bring you right back to where you started this process from within the course itself. So this is an example of a Google Docs Cloud assignment, and the purpose of it is so that a teacher can give each student their own copy of the assignment for them to edit, put content into, and then submit back. So now let's take a look at another type of assignment that you and your child could find in one of their myMCPS classroom courses. And that is called a CAMI Google Doc assignment. So CAMI is similar in that when a student gets this sort of assignment, it's their own copy of it. And the way that they're completing it, it only is going to contain the student's annotations in it for work, and that copy gets submitted back to the teacher. What's different about it is that it is a file that students are using tools of CAMI to put annotations over top of. So you're kind of like writing over top of the document and submitting it back to your teacher in that way. Similarly, when students see this, their first step is to click on an assignment button, that same button that you saw before, which launches the assignment in its own window. Second, the student is going to use the tools of CAMI to go ahead and complete that assignment. and then they see a submit button in the upper right-hand corner, just like you did for the Google Doc. That's what they click on to turn the assignment in. So let me give you an example about what that looks like. Here's a screenshot example of it. So the first screenshot over on the left is an example of being in the course. We clicked on the Google Docs Drive assignment, and that leads us to this window where there's that button that you click on. Once the button is clicked, a new window opens next to the course and displays the CAMI assignment. On the left, we can see the different tools that can be used to actually manipulate the assignment, complete it, and then in the upper right-hand corner, there's that submit button to turn it in. So a live example of that is going to look like this. Going back to home for my course. This time I'm going to click on my CAMI Google Drive assignment type. And again, here's that button I'm going to click on. That'll give me a new window right next to my course and load this CAMI assignment. It's coming, it's just a little slow. Let's try that again. Refresh. It worked so nicely this morning. All right, we'll come back to this. Perhaps Cammie's having a little bit of a moment as well. I'm going to move on and show you a different assignment type, and we'll circle back to this particular one. So let's take a look at a file upload type of assignment. Let me toggle back to the presentation so you can understand what I mean by that. So with a file upload assignment, it means that the student, it assumes that the student has completed some kind of work somewhere else. So maybe they created a Google Doc in their Drive outside of the course based upon looking at some requirements for the assignment, and they completed it that way. Maybe they used another application on their own personal device or an app that they used to complete some work, and it's saved on their device. Basically, the child is having to go locate where this assignment is that they completed outside of the course, and then select it and turn it in to their teacher. A good example of when that might be is, I think about elementary students. They now have been given workbooks for math to complete a lot of work in writing using a pencil. And so a teacher may say, boys and girls, I want you to complete lesson 3 in chapter 1. And so within their workbook on paper, they've completed that work. They can take a picture of that work, and that picture becomes a file. So it's a matter of going to get that file and then turning that in to be the completion of the assignment, okay? That would be the idea and the example of that. So if I look down below at my screenshots here, I can see that after I've clicked on the assignment, my first step here seems a little counterintuitive, but is to click on Submit Assignment. And that is so I can get prompted with this next screenshot here that allows me then to go out and find that assignment, to grab it, attach it, and then turn it in. So my options are either going to be file upload, of which I'm clicking on choose file because I'm going to go get that file from the device that I'm using, whether it's saved on a USB drive or it's saved in the hard drive of the device that they're using. Or if this is work that the student created on their own in their Google Drive, then they can click on Google Drive, look through their folders in their Drive, select that file, and then once they've selected it, they're clicking on Submit Assignment. So I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. So back in my course as a student, I see File Upload Parent. That's the name of my assignment. So when I click on this, I can see here that I first need to click on Submit Assignment, okay? In this case, the teacher has given the criteria of what has to be completed. Describe a memorable event you experienced over the summer. Please write a topic sentence to introduce the event, then write 3 supporting detailed sentences that describe the event. Last, write a concluding sentence to summarize the event you experienced. So it's like a prompt. So the student could have completed that anywhere. Maybe they wrote it out on a piece of paper. Maybe they opened up their drive, used Google Docs, and wrote it that way. If they're on a PC, maybe they wrote it up in Word and it's saved on a USB drive, or it's saved on the hard drive of that device. The point is they completed this work outside of something that the teacher gave them, and they need to click on Submit Assignment here to go grab that work and turn it in. So I've clicked on Submit Assignment, and then here are my choices. So with File Upload, if the work that I have is something that is saved on my device or a USB drive that I've plugged into that port, then I'm going to go ahead and click on Choose File. And that Open or Find File dialog box appears where I can drill down into my folders to select that file. I'll just pretend this is one of them that I want, and then I would be clicking on Open, okay? Or if I completed my work and it's saved in my drive, I'm going to click on Google Drive. It's going to show me the contents of my drive in a moment. So I could drill down into the folders if I knew where I organized it. If I didn't organize it into a folder and it's just in my drive generically, I can select it by going down to those files down below. If I know the name specifically, I can start to type that here. Once I've selected that, I would then be ready to go ahead and click on Submit Assignment, okay? So to give this form of submitting an assignment some more context, I want to talk about the use of a Canvas student app that will really be helpful, particularly if the way that your child is submitting some of this work outside of a specific assignment that's been given to them in the course is maybe paper-based, then this use of the Canvas student app is going to be super helpful. So the Canvas student app, it's a mobile app, and it can be installed from your app store on a phone, on an iPad, or even on an Android mobile device if that's what you have instead. So you would install that Canvas student app, and then you're going to log into the Canvas student app with your child's Google Apps account, because their Google Apps account is what ties to their myMCPS classroom account. It's the same credentials. Once they're logged in, then they'll be able to drill down into their classroom, to the assignment, and then they'll have options to select taking a picture to make the file of the work that gets submitted. So I'm going to give us a live example of exactly what I need. So I'm going to share my screen in a different way. That's going to help us to do that. There we go. Okay, so now what you're looking at is my phone. So on my phone, I'm going to drill down into where I see that Canvas student app that I've installed. It's the one second row on the left, has that Canvas symbol that's red and white, and in my case, it has the number 16 next to it, but underneath of it, it's labeled student. So I'm going to click on that. I'm already signed into this app with one of my children's accounts. It's showing me a dashboard for my student that I'm logged in with. So I'm going to navigate to the course where I have some assignments that need to be completed. So for me, I'm going to go into the Mrs. Trombatore's classroom course. And here I'm going to drill down into modules because I know within modules, that's where I was seeing my assignments. And we were talking about that file upload example of an assignment. So I'm going to select that file upload parent webinar demo assignment. And now I can see from this morning, I already submitted, but I'm going to resubmit another assignment for this. So I'm going to click on where it says resubmit assignment. If you hadn't already submitted the assignment, it would just say submit assignment. And now it says, okay, we're going to do a file upload. So that's what I'm going to select. And now in the bottom left corner, if I already had taken a picture of my student's written work, I could click on files in the bottom right-hand corner and simply navigate to that. If I need to still take the picture of my student's written work that they've completed, I can click on the camera option in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm clicking on that. Now you can see it's a live view of my camera. So I'm going to slide some work here underneath. I won't worry about it being perfect. Click on the button to snap a picture of that. And then notice it gives me the option of use this photo if I like the way I took a picture of it, or I could click on retake if I was dissatisfied and wanted another take on that. I'll just go ahead and click on use photo. And now it's ready for me to submit. So I would click on that submit button in the upper right-hand corner. And now I can see I have a timestamp that it was submitted today, okay, at 2:29. And to celebrate that I got some more work done, I got some confetti that popped up, which is super fun. Now I can click on back. And I'm now looking at that list of other assignments that I had available. I have a little notification now on my phone as a parent letting me know that my child submitted this work. And if I click on back, I'm at that home page for the course that I drilled down into. So that's an example of using the Canvas student app to be really supportive and getting assignments turned in when they're more paper-based as a file upload method as provided by the teacher. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, John, that's now going to walk you all through some other types of assignments that you and your child may see within a myMCPS classroom course. John, you're muted.
All right, so before we get started with that, there have been a couple of questions that have kind of come up in the question and answer. Just want to kind of clarify some things before we go forward. So a lot of folks are asking about the Canvas student app and then the parent view app. What's kind of the purpose for both of those? There's really two purposes. So as a parent, you're mostly going to use the parent view app. That's going to be your app to go in and look at things like grades, attendance, schedule, sectioning, things of that nature. You will also have a link that will link you through into your child's courses in Canvas. As a parent, you may also want to download the Canvas student app, not that you're going to be using it that often, but so that your child can use it in the example that Jenny just showed to capture work and submit that work that way. All right, so with that said, I'm going to jump back into our different types of assignments. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so the next type of assignment we're going to show you, again, all of these are Canvas, aka myMCPS classroom assignments. This type of assignment is called a text entry assignment. This is probably the easiest type of assignment for students to submit. However, when I show this to you, I want to show you a tool that world language teachers use, as well as teachers of kids who are very young, or if I'm in a performing arts class, maybe a band or a drama class. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to go into that class that Jenny was just in. And I'm going to go to student view so that we can see how it looks like for a student. I'll zoom in so it's easier for you all to see. And I'm going to go to the text entry example. As is most cases in Canvas, when I have work, I'm going to click the blue submit button. And then down below on the bottom of the screen, I get a text entry. At the root, this is where kids can type in their work. and then they would hit submit assignment. I do want to show you, however, how some teachers are using this to kind of expand this type of assignment other than just a text entry. Some teachers are asking kids to put in whether they be links, pictures. There's also an option here, if I hover over the button, it says record/upload media. The way that's used, and I'll go ahead and model it here. Screen comes up and I'm going to say start recording. And this is allowing the child to record themselves speaking, maybe a foreign language, playing an instrument, or if I'm a younger student, I can use this to just make a video of myself and submit it rather than having to type everything out. So I hit finish. I'm going to hit save. And then that's going to drop into the assignment. And then I go through and then maybe I didn't click save. And then I will submit that assignment once it's dropped into the document. Oh, there we go. Yep. So that's one type of assignment, text entry. That's a kind of a advanced way that teachers are using text entry. Next one is very similar. So some teachers are using this instead of text entry. So if we're doing that recording of ourselves and I wanted to have text as well as a recording, I would do that as a text entry. However, if I just need a recording of the student or of myself, you can use this type of assignment as a media recording assignment. It's nice in that you can use the camera tool that I just showed, or if I had a file that I recorded on my computer or on my phone, I could upload it directly from there as well. The way this looks, if I go to my media recording assignment here, again, very similar look and feel. I have that blue submit button in the top right corner. And here I'm given a button that says record or upload media. So I can say, I'm going to go ahead and press that. I have that very same recording. So I can say start the recording and it would record myself. Again, very similar fashion that I can say record. When I'm done, I hit finish. Then I choose save. And before I hit save, just notice there is an upload media tab here. So if I had that file somewhere else, I could upload that file. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Just like before, it will make it part of this assignment. And then I click the blue submit button. Go back to the home page. So I'm going to come back to this here in a moment. This next type of assignment, this is a discussion assignment, and this is a little different. This is one where you won't see the blue submit button, and it looks a little different. The purpose of this assignment, you may see some of these discussions happen within the first week of school, kind of like as a get to know you example, like, hi, I'm your teacher, these are the things I like, this is what I'm looking forward to. Please reply with the things you're looking forward to. Nice thing about the discussion questions is it's a threaded discussion, meaning you'll be able to see each other's replies. However, the replies don't show from other students until a student submits their own. So I can't see others' work until I submit my own. The way this works, let me load up that discussion assignment. There we go. And this one's a little different. So I don't see a blue submit button, but I do see here my teacher has described what she would like me to post in a reply. So I'm going to read that text. And then there's a reply to it. So if I press the reply button, again, I'm given that same kind of text box area. And this is where I type my reply. Once I press the post reply button, that's when I'm going to see my response as well as any of my other classmates who have responded to that. And the last type of a Canvas assignment we're going to show you today is a website URL assignment. This is good for things, so I'm thinking at the secondary level. If I'm in a website development class and I'm making a website as part of the class, I may want the teacher to see that website. So I'm going to say, here's the address to my website. That way the teacher can go there and view the work. You'll also see on the slide there is a Google Drive option there as well. So if I wanted to send the teacher a link to a Google file, I could do that as well. So the way this one works, go go and open that assignment here, website URL, there we go. I see that same blue submit assignment button, so I'm going to click that one. And in the website URL box, I could copy and paste the address. I could just as well type it as well. And then I would press the blue submit button. If it were a Google Drive file that I wanted to, say, provide the link to my teacher, I can choose Google Drive. It doesn't work when I'm masquerading as a student. I'd have to be showing my own account and then would go into my Google Drive, but then you could pick that file from there. So I know earlier in the presentation, we linked this presentation in the chat. This slide in particular is really good. So a lot of these, notice there's a lot of links there to how do I submit a Google Cloud assignment? How do I upload this type of assignment? So we will post this presentation in the chat again before it's over so that you have access to this slide. And just know you've seen several examples of how teachers are going to use types of assignments. I would not expect one teacher to use all these types of assignments. You're probably going to recognize that teachers are going to kind of familiarize themselves with, I would say, on average, one to four types of assignments. So you're going to probably see those repeated over and over again. If you need to come back and say, oh, how do we submit this type of assignment? How do we submit that type of assignment? That's the purpose of this slide. If I click on one of these links, it's going to open up a new page. It's either going to go to a text page or a video page that's going to have that information for me. Also, the next slide. So obviously you're aware of these parent webinar series because you're attending this one. If you want to attend future ones, the image on this slide is linked so that if I click on the image, it's going to open up the schedule of all of the parent webinar sessions. So maybe I missed one last week and I would like to attend it and see if it's being offered again. That schedule is linked off of the slides presentation, and you can see all of the dates and times on that schedule. With that said, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and see and check in with Jenny or Jeff to see if we had any common themes that we need to address.
I would say, oh, it looks like my audio or video is not working, but you can hear me. I'm seeing a couple times, just clarification on the credentials that need to be used to log in. Sometimes we're not being specific with logging into what, but from a student's perspective, it all just goes back to their Google Apps account. So their Google Apps account consists of an email address, a Google email address, and a password. So if they're on a Chromebook, they're forced to log in with that email address and password. It's the only way they can use the device. If you are using a personal device like a laptop or a desktop, PC, or Mac, then you need to use the Chrome browser, and from the Chrome browser, you are logging in your child with their Google Apps email address and password. Once that's done, the login process is pretty much done for your children, no matter what application they're needing to navigate to. Certainly from there, when they navigate to myMCPS Classroom, that automatically passes them into their dashboard because they're logged in and they're just simply looking at their tiles on their dashboard for the courses that they are enrolled to. From a parent perspective, if you're looking to get into myMCPS Classroom with your observer role to look at the courses that your children are enrolled to and see the assignments that are in existence to their courses for completion, then you are logging into the Parent View application with the credentials you set up when you activated your account. You have to choose your username. You have to choose the password that you want to use to log into that application. And once you've logged into Parent View, you're clicking on the Parent Resources tab. It's the last one on the left-hand side. And upon clicking upon that, you will see then a button or link for myMCPS Classroom. Clicking on that is what passes you into your dashboard within the application, where you are shown the thumbnails for all the courses that your child is enrolled to. So I thought I would clarify that because I saw that come up a bunch of times.
And I'm actually going to model the student process here real quick. This is kind of important for parents to see when a child logs in, and this would be whether it's a Chromebook or the Chrome browser. So a couple of things to check for to make sure it's the child's account logged in and not a personal account. So here I can see I'm logged into my MCPS account. First and foremost, in the browser, I see the avatar here in the upper right-hand corner. I know that's associated with my MCPS account. But also over here in the top left-hand corner, I see a folder called myMCPS Resources. This folder is going to become really important for kids. So they click on this my MCPS Resources folder. They click on that, and then the fourth or fifth link is going to say myMCPS Classroom. That's what's going to, I didn't see student view. Let me try that again. I'm going to leave student view. There we go. And it will take them, as Jenny mentioned, to their dashboard. And this is Canvas, also known as myMCPS Classroom, where they will see the dashboard for all of their course tiles. And that's going to be, if they do that now, they're probably not going to see anything. That's going to be starting on Monday. Their course tiles will start to show up.
I'll just say real quickly, because I've seen it in a few of these sessions, if you log into Chrome and go to Canvas, and at the top of the window it says your browser is out of date or something, that is an automatic message that won't affect your functionality of using Canvas. Canvas would like you to be on the most recent version of Chrome, but if it's an MCPS device, that version is still supported. So just exit out of that notification and you'll be fine.
Adding to that point, you can always allow your Chromebook to update so that the most recent version is in existence. That's always a possibility. I know one of the Chromebooks my own children was using in the spring. That was the situation. Until I went and updated the Chromebook with the latest software that was available, over the air, my child and I had no problem still, interacting with the myMCPS classroom courses that she needed to use with her teacher. And then it was certainly, accessible to us to download the latest software, and then that message shouldn't exist anymore.
A model, a question that was brought up, and that question is, where are the recordings of these webinars going? So I do want to show you where that resource is and where other resources are. So here I'm at the main MCPS homepage. In the search box up at the top, if I put in the term digital backpack, so I put in the term digital backpack, it's going to be that first link that comes up. The nice thing about that website is I can see here I have parent view resources as far as the email support guide, the letter guide in multiple languages. There's the parent view support guide, but there's the schedule document that we showed here earlier, but there's the parent webinar series recording. So if I click on that link, it's going to show me, we're not going to put every single parent webinar. There'd be too many to put in this playlist. So you're going to kind of see one or two of each of the webinars that were offered in this playlist. This one that you're seeing today is not in there because today was the first day this one was offered. Eventually this one will show up in this YouTube playlist. But again, that was just from the MCPS website. Search for the term digital backpack and it'll be that first link and it'll take you to the site where all of that information is stored. So I'm seeing a common thread. So some of you have already created your parent view accounts and you're in there and you're in the app and you're going to, I believe on the left side, it says resources or other resources. And then there's a link to Canvas. And right now it's producing an error. We're aware of that. So parents, you're doing the right thing. That's how you're going to get there. We're aware that right now it's producing an error, but yes, that's how you're going to get there. You're going to go into parent view, click on those other resources. Canvas will be one of those resources. It'll link through over into your child's courses. One other question that I've seen kind of come up a couple times is, how do I tell if the teacher has received my assignment? So in Canvas, when you submit an assignment and if you try to go back to it again, it's going to show that that assignment has been submitted. Depending on the teacher, he or she may allow multiple submissions. If they allow multiple submissions, you can submit the assignment again. There's no, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, there is not a way that says the teacher has gotten your assignment other than you submit it and that assignment shows up as submitted.
Correct. Yep. It will just show you on the grade section in your course navigation under the assignment name that you have submitted it. And again, most assignments allow multiple submissions. And so that's the way to kind of manage that.
All right, so I'm going to answer. I see one that's come up multiple times. I'm going to give you what I believe is the answer, and it's going to vary from home to home. There's a couple of things that came up in regards to printing from home. So there are a couple things you can do. One of the nice things is that the student's Google Drive folder is accessible on any device. So if I have a computer that's hooked up to a printer at my home, that child can come in, log into drive.google.com, and then print directly from there. In regards to students being able to print from Chromebooks to wireless printers at home, that gets really tricky because the printer has to support something called AirPrint. And if you do a Google search how to add a printer on a Chromebook, one of the first links will kind of walk you through it. But not every printer supports that. So generally we recommend, if you have a computer at your home that you know works and you can print from that computer, have the child log on to their Google Chrome browser and Google Drive and go to Google Drive or Canvas, wherever they need to go, and print from that machine.
I'll also just reinforce, I saw a question about parent view versus Canvas and where the grades are. So ultimately, parent view is the source of truth for your students' grades. And, you know, there is not an automatic push of scores from Canvas into parent view. Teachers have to initiate that process. And so you could think of the Canvas gradebook as kind of a, I don't want to say in progress, but, you know, maybe something will change between going from Canvas to Synergy, but in parent view, that is the grade. And we recommend you ultimately rely on parent view for the view into your student's grade.
Yeah, and that's really important to understand, because Canvas is only going to show you assignments that were completed if they were completed on the computer. However, if I'm say I'm doing a running record on a child, I'm listening to a child read, or I'm grading a discussion, that's not going to show through in Canvas. So the teacher's going to enter that in the grade book, and so which talks to Parent View nightly. So it's important to know that the ultimate source of the grade is going to be in the Parent View app, because that's going to represent not only assignments completed in Canvas, but also any of those types of assignments that don't fit into the mold of a digital assignment, whether that be an observation, whether that be where the kids are maybe holding up answers, and I'm kind of doing a spot check that way. But yes, always go to Parent View, to the grades area, and that's going to be the source of the report card and for your child's grade.
Another thing I'm going to clarify, I'm seeing questions, what do I log into the Canvas app with as a student or as a parent? We're asking you to install the Canvas student app. Therefore, it makes sense that you're going to log into the Canvas student app with your student's account information. It is your student that needs to complete assignments and work. Therefore, you're wanting to use that app, being logged in as your child, as your student, so they can do exactly that, complete the work, do the process that I modeled with taking a picture of written work, using it as a file upload, and submitting that work. You really don't have a need for being logged in to the parent Canvas app. You want to be logged in and using the Parent View app.
While we're on the topic of Parent View, a question came up: is Parent View real time? Meaning, will I see, and that question is pertaining to, I guess, am I going to see attendance as it's marked? Am I going to see grades as they are entered in the grade book? Yes. In previous iterations of our grade book, not everything was real time, but in Parent View, the app, if the child is marked absent or a score is entered, it will show through to Parent View in real time.
I believe we are at time. So thank you all for your attention and efforts today. And there are, additional webinars you can attend, but we appreciate your time and patience. And
Thanks, everyone. Take care.